Is consensual murder moral? Hi, this is Braden Kinney, and we're going to analyze what is widely considered the first instance of the internet and email being the primary source of evidence used in an actual conviction. This case revolves around Sharon Lopatka from Maryland and Robert Glass from North Carolina, and it all takes place in the mid-90s. Before I start, I just want to say that this content is inherently graphic and viewer discretion is advised. Let's start with the origin of Sharon Lopatka. This is Sharon Lopatka. She was born as Sharon Denberg to an Orthodox Jewish family. She was the oldest of four, and her family was active in their synagogue. Many people who knew her said she was about as normal as it gets. We'll quickly see that this isn't so. She graduated high school in 1979 and didn't marry until 1991 when she married Victor, who worked in construction. The marriage seems controversial from what I can gather, even being described as a way of breaking away by a classmate, and her parents didn't seem very supportive. I'm not sure if the classmate meant breaking away from her family, her religion, or both, or exactly what they meant by that comment. I would describe Sharon as an early internet entrepreneur. She started online advertising from home in 1995 as a way to earn some extra money. She originally sold home decor guides by mail. She also worked online as a psychic medium, where she sold psychic readings and even some sort of love potions. I'm not really sure what that's all about or exactly what this entailed, but that's what I know. Keep in mind, as we go through this story, that in the mid-90s, the internet was still very much experimental. The internet was practically still in its infancy. Sharon also frequented many BDSM and various fetish websites and forums using pseudonames like Nancy. This is where everything starts to get pretty interesting, or weird. On May 3rd, 1996, under her Nancy C544 alias, she wrote, "Hi, my name is Nancy. I have blonde hair, green eyes, I'm 5'6" and weigh 121. Is anyone out there interested in buying my worn panties? This is not a joke or a wacky internet scam." Now, this wasn't exactly the truth. She was about 5'10" and weighed closer to 190 pounds. This lie was probably rooted in her desire to make a quick buck. She also tried her hand at selling fetish videos, including foot fetish videos, extreme weight gain fetish videos, and a couple of other things. But most relevant, she also sold fetish videos of women being hypnotized or knocked out and then raped. Let's talk about some of her earlier internet encounters before we get to Robert Glass. She posted a message in an online group about cannibalistic sex saying she was looking for someone who would force feed her until she had more than doubled in size. She had a goal weight of 475 pounds. She was seemingly very serious about this, even saying she would relocate to be with someone who was willing to feed her until she reached almost 500 pounds. Oddly enough, she specified that she was looking for a bachelor because she wasn't interested in being a homewrecker. I find that pretty odd considering she was kind of wrecking her own home by leaving her husband and wanting to be murdered and stuff. She met people through a necrophilia group where she wrote, "I kind of have a fascination with torturing till death." One of these individuals was located in New Jersey. It seems that she actually went to meet him. When he realized she was actually really serious about wanting to be tortured until she died, he refused to indulge her anymore. Smart. One of these individuals was Robert Glass. Robert was a 47-year-old who lived in North Carolina. I don't feel as if his backstory is as important to the case, so I'll just touch on a few major points. Robert had 3 kids of his own, and he and his wife had separated. His wife said he spent too much time on the computer, and she caught him with some pornography vile enough that she was prompted to separate with him. Sharon and Robert met through the previously mentioned forum and spent a lot of time talking to one another about their fetishes and their desires. This went on over the course of about a month and a half, and the two had sent somewhere around the amount of 900 emails between them. That math actually works out to about 20 emails a day on average, which is quite a bit when you're considering the content that they were discussing. Sharon shared with him that she wanted to be tortured to death and asked if he would do it. Not only did he agree to it, but he detailed to her exactly how he would do it. They eventually agreed to meet up and overcome the 400 miles that separated them so they could fulfill their dark fantasies. On October 13th, 1996, Sharon left a note to her husband saying something along the lines of, "Don't come looking for me. If they don't find my body, know that I found peace." What's interesting is right before she left that note, and right before she left, she actually just told him that she was going to go visit some friends. She got in her car, drove to the Baltimore train station, and left for Charlotte, North Carolina, where Robert picked her up and made the 80-mile drive back to his trailer home. Sharon was never to be heard from again. Sharon stayed with Robert for 3 days before her passing, and no one knows exactly what took place in those 3 days. The police were tipped off by Sharon's husband. They searched her computer and found all of the emails, which made Glass an obvious lead in the investigation. The police surveyed his home for multiple days and never saw any sign that Sharon was living there with him. When the surveillance turned up nothing, a judge signed off on a warrant to search Robert's home on October 25, 1996. The police found Sharon buried in a shallow grave just 75 feet outside of Robert's trailer. Glass was arrested at work, where he worked for the county as a computer analyst, and he admitted to the murder. He said, "I don't know how much I pulled the rope. I never wanted to kill her, but she ended up dead." Obviously contrary to the emails. Medical examination revealed that the victim had in fact asphyxiated, but there was no evidence of strangulation, nor was there any evidence of any actual torture in the 3 days she spent alive in his home. That's what I find really strange about this case, and I don't think we'll ever really know what happened there in the 3 days that she lived with him. He was held on a first-degree murder charge with no bail. He pled guilty to a voluntary manslaughter charge on January 27, 2000, where he received a 36 to 53-month sentence. So, is consensual murder moral? That's up for debate. I guess it kind of comes down to where you're from, what influences your moral compass, whether that be religion or other things, and how you feel about that matter. But I'm not going to leave my opinion on that personally. However, Robert Glass wasn't a good man regardless of your moral compass. They also recovered child pornography from his home when it was searched, and he received an additional 27-month sentence for second-degree minor exploitation. Robert Glass ended up passing away from a heart attack on February 20th, 2002, just a single month before he was supposed to finish his sentence. This case has a lot of interesting influence. It was the first where a murder suspect was put into custody by the police department due to evidence from emails. The media kind of spun this to focus on the dangerous consequences of internet-held meetings. This is also used as one of the earliest examples of what psychologists refer to as the Mardi Gras phenomenon. This has to do with when you use multiple personalities to decrease your chance of having consequences. Due to the popularity of this case, psychologists started trying to better understand atypical sexual desires that have to do with sadism, masochism, and asphyxia. And in 2008, a film debuted called Downloading Nancy, which premiered at the Sundance Music Festival and actually released in 2009. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my first video. All feedback is appreciated. I put in a ton of time and work into this video, so if you guys could give it a share, that'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time.